Welcome to the podcast, Pilgrim and the Monk. A developing story of a pilgrim who is seeking the truth, and a monk who helps him find the way. Written by Timothy G.A. Cooper. Narrated and produced by Greg Cooper. Chapter 65. Reckless Faith.
Monk, I've been on this journey for a while now, and one thing has always bothered me.
What is that, Pilgrim?
How can I tell when I've matured spiritually? I know it's a process, but how can I tell if I'm growing?
I have always believed that a strong indicator of our spiritual maturity is the recklessness of our faith.
That's not at all what I thought you'd say. That seems like the opposite of spiritual maturity to me.
Perhaps if we look at an example in the Scriptures, that might illustrate my position.
That would be great, Monk.
Do you remember the miracle of Jesus walking on the water through the storm?
Yes, of course. The disciples thought he was a ghost. That's when Peter also walked on water, but his doubt made him sink. Our Lord had to save him.
I do not hold much criticism for Peter. After all, our Lord has to save us all. Peter was the only one willing to get out of the boat.
So that's what you mean by reckless faith?
Yes. It is the desire to follow our Lord beyond our position of comfort and rationality into the very storms of life. At these moments we must rely on Him alone for our support.
That's quite the commitment.
One which all of the heroes of our faith have made.
How does that make someone spiritually mature? It seems like more of a spiritual daredevil.
It is a reflection of how much we trust in the Lord. He called Peter to step out of the boat into a stormy sea. To his credit, Peter obeyed.
He still sank.
Certainly, when he took his eyes off Christ. Does that not happen to us all? Spiritual maturity does not mean perfection. Those are two very different things. To Peter's credit, and another sign of maturity, he did not attempt to save himself. He turned back to the Lord and was restored.
All this time I focused on the wrong part of that story. I thought it was about Peter's doubt. It's amazing that someone who commits such an act of faith in 1 minute could struggle with doubt the next.
Maturity is a process. There will always be bumps along the way.
Peter is such an everyman, isn't he? In his life we see the growth and mistakes we're all prone to make. But in the end, he really did become a disciple with reckless faith.
I like him.
The more I learn about him, I do too.
You've been listening to Pilgrim and the Monk, written by Timothy G.A. Cooper, narrated and produced by Greg Cooper. We hope you enjoyed this production. Please join us again for the next episode.